สวัสดีค่ะทุกท่าน Hi everyone, I'm V from Paint in Hiding. So a while ago I posted this video about Rembrandt watercolors. If you haven't seen it already, I really recommend it if I could say so myself. Anyway, Samantha commented asking if I could show how to print waterproof and make the correctly sized palette swatch charts. So I'm going to get straight into it. Step 1. Measuring the palette. I'm not too worried about being precise, so I just measure the part where the paper will eventually be kept inside the palette. After I get these measurements, I subtract about 1 centimeter from the length and half a centimeter from the width. This allows me to be sure the swatch chart will not be too big and will definitely fit inside the palette. Step 2. I retrieve cheap watercolor paper that I will print on. I'll eventually throw these swatch charts away when I rearrange my palette, so I don't use 100% cotton paper. Today I'll be using this A5 cellulose watercolor paper by Canson. Step 3. I go into a Word document software. I'm using Pages on a Macbook. Click on Add Shapes, then adjust the shape size to the measurements I had previously recorded. Then I take a screenshot of this and open it in an image editing software. I'm using Preview on MacBook again. If you're more fluent in using softwares, then there's no need to change like me. I'm just changing because it's easier for me to use this. Step 4. Now that I have the rectangle, I crop it, and here is where I add more rectangles to make borders between each color. After that, I would add the pigment numbers or names, whichever is the shortest option. Step 5. I add this back to my Word document software, and then readjust the size again. If you'll be using scissors like me later on, I recommend adding a border around the whole piece, as this will give a good cutting guide. Step 6. Printing time! I've already posted a video about printing waterproof already, so if you want details, go check that one out. I'll leave a link in the description box below. But in short, I am using EPSON L15150. I believe it's an inkjet printer with pigmented ink. That's why it's able to print waterproof. Step 7. Painting the swatches. So apparently my footage of the rest of the process was corrupted, so I'm going to continue explaining the rest of my process with footage from when I did this for my personalized Roman small palette. Alright, how you want to swatch is up to you. I usually try to go for a regular wash and add some pigment on top for clear mass tone representation, but I usually get impatient and I just rush through the process. Step 8. Leave to dry. Step 9. Once my swatch chart is completely dry, I like to laminate it by using clear tape. Making sure to work on a hard surface, I stuck the tape onto the table to have an anchor point, then slid my chart underneath. Using a straight edge like a card or a metal ruler, I slowly applied the tape onto the paper. Repeat this step as necessary until you laminate your whole swatch chart. If you want the back to also be laminated, you can tape the back of your swatch chart in this step as well. Finally, step 10. Depending on how much excess paper you have on each side, cut the excess paper and tape off, and/or fold over the remaining tape to seal edges. And you'll see that I have here a nice swatch chart with crisp edges. I've found this the best method since I have tried cutting paper before laminating with tape. I would always run into issues where there's always overhanging tape or cutting excess tape caused it to rip. It was just never as neat as laminating before cutting. And there you have it. That's how I do my palette swatch charts. I hope this has been useful or at the very least entertaining for some of you. I'd love to know if anyone does this too, or if you just don't bother with swatch charts at all because maybe, just maybe, you have a better brain than I do and can remember all your colors. Anyway, since we're in the holiday season, I thought I'd add this at the end here of what Christmas in Thailand looks like. My family sadly doesn't celebrate Christmas, but I always like to look at all the decorations various places put up. This one here is a Christmas tree that I happened to walk by during work hours. It's so cute, isn't it? I wish I could have one at home too, but it's okay. It makes me happy enough feeling the festivities in the air. As always, thank you so much for watching everyone. Don't forget to drink lots of water and stay hydrated.